world. We want you to be a part of this conversation. Today, we are going to be talking about websites in 2025. Yes, this is a piece of paper, but we are going to be talking about why we believe so deeply in improving your website, in storytelling on your website. We believe in 4 C's: content, commerce, communication, and community. This is the Rising Tide live call. We started these calls weekly on a social audio app called Clubhouse way back in the pandemic. We started doing them every Wednesday, every Friday. We eventually moved to LinkedIn audio. Now we are doing video. If you are waiting to come on to the community roundtable portion, we will get to that. In the beginning, we are going to bring on a case study. Kyle Pfluger, who's part of our Cali Barbecue media team. We're going to do a quick story about what we did for this live show, why we launched a specific landing page on our website to help better tell the story, to help better communicate with the audience, to help grow this community. We're going to do a quick case study on that. We're also going to bring on Michael Beck. Michael Beck from Ink Tank GTM. Kyle and Michael are working on a new site for him. We're going to talk about why they're doing it, what they're doing, and we're going to do a quick case study on Novo Brazil. So Novo Brazil is a local restaurant here. We just finished a family style episode on YouTube. So if you go to Toast's YouTube page, you can watch the family style episode with Novo Brazil, but we're going to show you some of the cool things that we did with their website. Then we're going to have a discussion. So if you have tips about what you want to do for your website, if you have questions, we want you to join the discussion. So let's go ahead and bring up our 2 special guests, Kyle Pfluger and Michael Beck. Welcome to the party.
What's up, man?
What's up? Kyle Pfluger, first time on live video.
First time, long time, man.
First time, long time. What's up? Take 60 seconds. Let the community know, who are you and what do you believe? 60 seconds. Go.
All right. My name is Kyle Pfluger. I own my own business called Mithril Media. We specialize in website design, development, and management for a wide breadth of different businesses. I've been doing that for a long time. I'm also a member of the Cali Barbecue Media team. Work closely with my dear friend Sean and the rest of the team here on all of the cool stuff that we got going. So that's everything from media and podcast production to building websites for our awesome clients like our friend Michael Beck here. And what do I believe? I believe that good websites are a fundamental piece of a successful business. I think in this day and age, it is imperative to make your website a centerpiece of your marketing strategy. I also think that the role that the website plays in marketing has changed a lot in the last, let's call it 5 years. I think post-pandemic things have shifted a bit in terms of where websites are really going to be most beneficial. So I'm excited to dive into that today.
Awesome. Michael Beck, Mike is yours. 60 seconds.
Right on.
Who are you and what do you believe? Can he do it in 60 seconds?
Oh my God. Yeah,
I need a timer. Can my producers, I've got Stover and Mike and Gavin. Can somebody give me like a timer, 60 second tick, tick, tick
clock up there? Yeah. So anyways, now I got 45 seconds to get my message.
I'm serious about that. Anyways, figure that out, guys.
My name is Michael Beck. I am the CEO of a little company called Ink Tank GTM. We help companies go to market, and that clock is killing me. I love it. Anyways, but what I mean by that is we help companies get their sales infrastructure down, their sales disciplines, and understanding who their customers are so they can target them to really use their time wisely, because sales is all about having the using your time in the right way to be able to gather those prospects and turn them into commercial relationships. The things I believe for context of this cast, I believe the curb appeal goes a long way. You can be a small business and have a beautiful website that will make you look just as good as some of the biggest players on the planet. And so curb appeal is what it's all about. And if you ask what I'm about random acts of kindness and being the good. Anything that moves people along, improves their lives, puts a smile on people's faces. That's where I'm at in my core. So.
Well done. You did it in 60 seconds. So just a shout out to the community. If you're watching on LinkedIn, please hit repost. That way we can get more people involved in this conversation. You can go to our new landing page. Kyle, what's the name of the landing page?
BeTheShow.media/risingtides. You can find it there.
So yes, let's talk about pain points. So we've been doing these community calls. It's been audio only. We started on this magical app called Clubhouse. We met so many amazing people like Troy Hooper, Jason Berkowitz, Richard Liverman, Elizabeth Doss, Heather, Mandy, so many amazing people that are part of this digital hospitality rising tide community. I would go on our shows. So we do a show, Restaurant Influencers. We do a show, Digital Hospitality. I would go in real life, speaking at events and telling people, please join our live Clubhouse call. And I was promoting the app Clubhouse. And people that are not on Clubhouse were hesitant to join Clubhouse. Eventually, we switched over to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a B2B playground. It made sense. Hey, let's move our social audio calls over to LinkedIn. Because that way we're already on LinkedIn. That way, if you're in the audience, you could connect with somebody in the audience. Eventually, just now this month, LinkedIn has ended LinkedIn audio. So we went to Riverside, and now we're streaming across multiple platforms. But as much as I love social media, social storytelling, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, X, Blue Sky, you name it, we want to create content and tell stories on all those platforms. You got to have something where you can actually build community, you can put your content, you can do commerce, and you can communicate with your clients and prospective people. So Rising Tide is something that Kyle just launched. Kyle, can you share a little bit about the project and why we did it and what we hope to accomplish?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll share my screen here in just a sec to kind of show everyone this new web page that we built. But wanted to piggyback a little bit on one of the things you just mentioned, Sean. And like you said, LinkedIn just sunset their audio.
Why'd they do that?
Yeah, it seems silly. And this to me though is a perfect example of why having full ownership over your content and having a place to keep that content in perpetuity, in an evergreen manner, for as long as you want that content to live, not at someone else's discretion in terms of what the algorithm is today or tomorrow or next week or next year, but completely up to you. Now, that's not to say it doesn't come without a fair bit of work to make that happen, but we put a lot of work into creating that content. And if it just magically goes away, let's say we hadn't made the point to take all of those audio conversations we've had with all these amazing people in this Rising Tides room, we hadn't made the effort to go take those and put those in an audio format that get published to a podcast feed, they'd be gone forever. They'd be lost. We'd never have all of the incredible knowledge that's been shared here in however long it's been that we've been doing this. So just a great point to really hit home in terms of one of the things that I think makes a website so important in the modern day and age. We all use these other platforms, but making sure you've got the hub at the center of your all your spokes. Your hub is your website, and that's what it should always be.
Well, let's go real quick. Show it off for the community. We're very proud of it. We want to build it. We want to add links to other people that join these calls. We want to add your businesses because that will help with SEO. That'll help build deeper community. Here it is. So this is, Kyle, give us a quick rundown, and then let's get into Michael Beck, Novo, and then bring up other leaders onto the show. So go for it.
Love it. So like most things in working with Sean, he throws something over to the phone.
I say do it now, not later.
We need a landing page.
I need this huge project done now.
That's actually one of my favorite things about working with Sean is you sort of get a level of autonomy. He has an implicit amount of trust in the people that work with him. So it was a lot of fun to get to work on this. And the first time Sean saw it, it was a couple days ago.
What was you've already preemptive every single thing that I'm going to say. What is the number one thing that I'm going to ask?
Make it mobile friendly.
Make it mobile first.
Mobile first. We don't
make
even
it mobile first.
Mobile friendly is not good enough. Mobile first is the way to roll. So
I don't want to go to an ancient desktop.
Yes,
and log on and get into my fax machine and my time machine.
Well, the fun part of development, just a little bit of behind the curtain, is typically, when building a website, it gets built in a format like what you're seeing here on screen for a desktop view. So I always have to preempt Sean with whether or not it's ready to look at on a mobile device, because if I haven't, really pimped it out on the mobile device yet, I don't want Sean to berate me for it looking like shit on a mobile device. So anyway, so Sean tasked us with, hey, we need to get a landing page put together. This Rising Tides community is growing. We need a central place that makes it easy for people to learn how to watch the show. And when we think about this, our audience audience is the people that are going to come join us on stage today and actively participate in the conversation. But our audience is also the thousands of people that listen to this as it gets published as a podcast, or as now that we're in a video format, it's getting published on YouTube as well. So as we continue to evolve the way that we build this content, we continue to evolve the way that we showcase it as well. So on the landing page here, we're going to have this dedicated spot right at the top that's going to feature our latest episode. So the one that you see here is our one that was recorded, let's see, on Wednesday.
Yes.
I believe it's either Wednesday or Friday. I don't remember which one. It's one of our most recent episodes. Might have a to-do list.
That was Wednesday. That was Troy Hooper and Scott Auden.
So we'll feature this here. We love all these.
Scott Turner. I always call him Scott Auden because it's Auden Hospitality. Scott, you need to legally change your name from Turner to Auden if you're listening.
Yes. I love this picture though, because it sort of to me it encompasses everything that these rooms have become. It's just these smiling faces, and for so long it's been listening to the smiles on these audio calls, and now actually getting to see all these wonderful faces and these people smiling and having a great time and learning together. Learning in public is such a fun thing. So right at the top of the page, one of the main things I'll call out: never build a website, never build something above the fold, to bring back an archaic term from the newspaper days. Never do anything above the fold that doesn't include a call to action. So the two most important things for people that are interested in this show is go watch the show or come be a guest on our show. Those are the two things that we want to drive people to. So those are the two big buttons you see right here. If I click this one, it's going to take me off to YouTube. I get to go watch all of our live episodes. If I click be a guest on the show, I'll hold off on that just because I want to do the scrolling myself, and that's going to take me to the page. So we're going to go a little bit at a time here. So very high level. Make your first impression, right? We all know how important they are. Make it stand out. Make it engaging. Make it something that people want to look at. So top of the page here, if we scroll down a little bit, obviously you guys can see we've leaned into the rising tides theme here.
I love it.
Water.
Big fan.
Yeah, me too.
I love the forecast. Show them the forecast.
Yes. So we're going to scroll down a little bit here. So first thing, the most important thing we want from someone visiting this page, we want people coming here to join the conversation with us. Our number one goal with Rising Tides is to grow this community. We've seen firsthand introductions that I've been able to make with other business owners, introductions of Cali Barbecue Media, getting to interface with people. We've met so many incredible people throughout the process of when Sean started this years ago to where we are now, and we just want that to keep growing. So
Kyle, I love your transition there as the tide moves and the shore comes in.
Yeah, should we show that again? This was
fun. Let's see it again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you guys how much time I spent getting this right. Perfectionism is a dangerous thing as a web designer. You will spend hours and hours and hours writing code just to get it to do exactly what you want it to. So yeah, we've got some fun. I won't call them Easter eggs, but we've got some. We really leaned into the theme here. Yes, that is right. Fun fact: Kyle spent a lot of hours.
It's too early for this.
So scrolling down a little bit more, this is the section here that Sean called out, and you'll see. I'm just going to do that one more time because it's so subtle and so sexy and so smooth. If we come down, we get these beautiful animations. Everything kind of fades into place for us.
So now the forecast, how easy is it going to be for Mike Biseglia, who is our producer specifically for the Rising Tide show? How easy is it going to be for him to update the upcoming topics? Because forecasting, we've got a lot of technology people in the audience. People want to know what's the topic, when should I come to the live show, what do I have to contribute? We want to do a better job of not only crowdsourcing topics for these rooms, but also letting people know, hey, this is the show that we're talking about YouTube, or this is the show that we're talking about offers. Like we're talking about, free samples, which is an upcoming show. How easy is it going to be for our team to update this?
Incredibly easy. So there's even a couple different ways that we can do this. This is a behind the scenes technical piece of this. We can link this up to a Google Calendar, and as soon as we update that Google Calendar, our website's going to update for us. So real easy. We've got, like we said, this website went live literally yesterday, so we've still got some fun stuff to keep building. But great example of it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be entirely complete in order to launch. What's most important to us is getting this information in front of people and getting this out in the public, and we're going to keep building on it as we go.
Amazing. So we have Richard Liverman, Jason Berkowitz, Matt Wampler, Laura Wilbur, all in the green room. We're going to get you guys up real quick. Let's quickly talk to Michael Beck and get a why Michael Beck and what? Why and what? Why are we working together, and what are we building, and what do we hope to accomplish? Because you have a lot of clients as well that are coming and asking for your services, and why foundationally do you believe in the work that we're about to do in 2025?
Well, gosh, thanks, Sean. It's just, you look at people's websites and you think, God, that's just low hanging fruit. If you visit and you could tell that they cobbled it together and it was an afterthought. You're trying to trying to earn business. You're trying to earn credibility, maybe a flash of respect or a nod, going, "Wow, they really did something thoughtful there." And so, the first impression is one you can't do it again. You only get one, right? And so when people show up and they want to take a look at you, I want them to have a good look. I want them to go, "Wow, I get this." Right. And right now I've operated without a website for 3 months because right now I'd rather have a coming soon than something that isn't going to be spot on for the land. Now, to Kyle's point, you can build out further down the roads, but your landing page, it's like welcoming people to your front door, or in fact, you're inviting them into the house. And I know that when people come visit our home, we all as a family go crazy and clean everything and make sure everything's perfect because we want to.
You too? You guys do that too?
Oh my God!
I thought I was the only one that cleaned baseboards around.
Yeah, I'll say scrubbing baseboards.
Yeah. Baseboards, baby. You got to move the furniture. You got to get after it.
Yeah, my wife gives me the stink eye anytime I say, "Oh, we got company coming." Sam Stanovich was coming. We were stripping this house down for like 2 days. All of a sudden, it was like, this is just Sam, But yes, and so to my point though, it's all about curb appeal. It's hard to sell a house if the front yard looks like crap, if the paint's not done. And some of the stuff is just easy work to do. You don't have to spend millions of dollars, but you can compete with the best of the best who spent millions, if not tens of millions of dollars on their web presence. If you just get the storefront right, like the Wild West, when they used to go in those old Wild West movies, there wasn't a whole town there. They had some nice facades of the fronts of these buildings. They walked inside. And so for what we need to do, we need to engage quickly, grab people's attention, and get them excited about what our message is. And the reason that we're doing this with Cali Barbecue Media is that, one, on the quality of the work you guys do speaks exactly about what I'm talking about. You care about the work you do. You care about your customers. And because you are a master of storytelling, I think that weaves in well with being able to put that and connect that to what a website is really going to do, not just have it disconnected going, here's a place, but this is now warm and alive. It's connected to the pulse of our industry. It understands what the people we care about. That's massive. And that's why I wanted to work with you. And the other thing is there's a splash effect by the work you do, by Rising Tides. We're so many concentric circles that care for each other. I think it will be silly not to work with you guys, because once it's in here, we know that we're going to care for this and it spits out, and everybody around us makes sure it's going to be taken care of too. We have this whole village in here,
Well, I think one thing I want to make sure that the audience or anybody that's listening to this afterwards or that's watching this video, one of the things when I first met Michael Beck, he always tells a story about all of the things that are behind him. So if you're watching on video, Mike, can you give us a quick synopsis of what's behind you?
Yeah. So in this room here is essentially I guess a trophy room for the kills I've made. With regard to sales.
Mike is a salesman, a true salesman
Yeah,
that incentivizes himself and his son with amazing collection of different types of things that he loves.
Somebody once said you don't get a trophy for being away from your family. And that's I'm like, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to get a trophy every time I was away and it was worth my while. And so I gamified it. Iron Man was for Taco Bell, right? And so the big ones are for some big deal that we got. And the smaller ones, there's a small piece of commerce. So just something fun.
But I think one of the best things that Michael said on one of the first calls that I met with him was, we were talking about blurring your background or not blurring your background. And even before this call, he was saying, if I'm meeting with a CFO, I'm going to blur my background so that they don't see my quirkiness or my personality. And I always tell Mike, you be you. And that goes to your website too. Nobody wants to land on a corporate website that has stock photos of people that, are just fake. Like, be you and pattern interrupt. And it goes for social media. When you're making content for LinkedIn, you're making content for Instagram, for YouTube, like, make it interesting. Like, you be you. And if you're not you, then what kind of business are you trying to accomplish anyways?
Yeah, can I add to that? We see all these people adding like stock photos. What the heck?
Kyle, you can stop screen sharing now, because we can bring up some more of the community and get in on this get in on this action. Let's see if Matt Wampler, or Matt puts the wah in Wampler. Matt Wampler. I'm sorry, Matt Wampler. Would you please join the stage?
I'm just so glad you're getting my name right.
Matt Wampler.
Wampler?
The Matt Wampler. I just have to give X a little love, like put the wah in Wampler. He did
Well,
such a good.
Let me say this. I've been a long time listener on these shows. It's great to be a viewer as well. This is a fantastic format. Well done.
Thank you. It's well, it's a perfect topic to be talking about websites, because as Matt knows, we love social media so much. We love storytelling on other platforms, but when platforms change, what happens? You have to evolve and you have to adapt. So if we promote our website, which is we can change to audio, video, words, images, how this community connects in real life, how this community connects digitally, it's something that we have control over. We don't have to worry about LinkedIn shutting down LinkedIn audio. We don't have to worry about Clubhouse changing their interface and making it impossible to find rooms. Matt, quickly, 60 seconds, who are you? What do you believe in? And what have you learned about your new website that you just launched?
Matt Wampler, ex-owner operator, currently CEO over at ClearCogs. We do demand forecasting for restaurants. I think the biggest takeaway I had, we just released our new website, is this. That's like a new car, right? It comes out, no scratches on it, it's perfect. And then it just very quickly becomes a Frankenstein where like you're tweaking little things and it's hard to keep that cohesive picture. And so going from that Frankenstein that had been tweaked over and over again to a new website was just amazing. A good feeling. And I think our mission right now is, how do you continue to have that cohesiveness as you move forward?
I love it. Let's bring up some more of the community. Let's get this conversation going. It's going to be, so before when we were on Clubhouse, it was more of me calling on you, but don't be afraid to unmute yourself. You're all part of the digital hospitality leadership. We can talk over each other. Laura Wilbur, welcome to the stage. Can you take 60 seconds? Who are you? What do you believe? And any questions or comments on websites? Go for it.
Oh my gosh. Can you hear me?
We can.
Oh, wow. Okay. I apologize if there's background noise.
We're all learning here. This is a community learning in public.
I don't see you guys at all. I have no idea. I think I can mute myself. Yeah, I lost the whole.
We can hear you. You're good to go.
Okay. I'm Laura Wilbur. I'm in the business of showing up for my restaurant clients and bringing friends. And by friends, I mean 21 million expense account diners looking for great restaurants to dine in at, order carry out from, order catering from, and to book private events at. Really excited about this conversation today because websites are such a huge part of my day-to-day in vetting restaurants for our corporate clients. So thank you all for this topic.
Amazing. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. Next person up is Jason Berkowitz. The Jason Berkowitz. Again, in real life, IRL. Well, not really IRL. I feel like it's IRL. It's video. It's so weird.
I know. It is. It's that step up from where we were. IRD. In real digital.
In real digital. There you go. I like it.
Jason Berkowitz, longtime restaurant operator and partner and founder of Arrow Up Training. Our courses help restaurants satisfy compliance, level up their teams, and develop supervisors into leaders. And it's going to be fun to talk about websites as we've transitioned from starting off a complete compliance-based place where you can purchase to distribution, and where our model's going as we grow into a media company. So this will be fun. Amazing.
Love it. Jason Berkowitz. Richard Liverman. I need a lesson from Richard first.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nope.
Okay.
And good night.
We lost you, Richard. We can hear you, but we can't see you.
I guess the lesson was how to accidentally hang up.
There you go. He shot up the chimney.
There you go.
The editors kicked me out. I was hoping Mercedes would be here.
Okay, we'll wait. You can give the lesson at the end. We have a teaser.
It is Christmas related and very, very important.
Okay,
to
perfect.
avoid any cultural inappropriation. Hi, I'm Richard. I live by a mantra of don't be boring, which manifests itself in coaching, branding, mentoring, consultancy all over the world. I'm really interested by today's discussion, and I've got a couple of questions for Kyle and Michael, whenever that's appropriate.
Let's get to Scott Turner and then Mercedes, and then we'll get into questions. Go for it, Scott Turner. Scott Auden. I apologize.
Scott Auden.
AKA
I'll
Scott
change
Auden,
it back
AKA.
just for you.
I legally change it, please.
It's better than Scott LUFC, which is what it used to be. Before I went professional. Hi, everyone. I am Scott from Auden Hospitality. We are helping hotels to look at their food and beverage and make it far more exciting than you see in most of the branded organizations that are on the market. And yeah, podcast hospitality huddles and doing some other fun stuff. So keep tuned on some of our social channels, Auden Hospitality.
Brilliant. Thank you, Scott. Mercedes, you're up.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for me and Richard's, grand finale, I guess we'll call it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But Mercedes coming at you from sunny San Diego, Director of Sales and Events for the Wood Group in Pacific Beach, also the VP of Programs for HSMAI's San Diego chapter. Today I have an event later tonight. It has been a very busy week. I've had a lot of events, photo shoots, trying to get ready for New Year's Eve on the way. So happy to be here. Happy to have everybody's smiling faces.
Amazing. Thank you, Mercedes. And Elizabeth Doss, what's up?
Hey there.
Go for it.
Elizabeth here. I am a motion graphic designer who specializes in animated GIFs, and I help brands and businesses with their GIFs. I am a verified artist with Giphy. My GIFs have been viewed over 5 billion times, and I help brands and businesses access the 1 billion users daily that are accessing 10 plus billion GIFs daily. And I'm super excited because I know Scott is really involved in the Burnt Chef project, and we have our first set of GIFs up and going. You can search them on any GIF search. Just search at the Burnt Chef project, and you'll find a whole bunch of GIFs that are dedicated to mental health awareness, especially in the hospitality industry. Ones they can text to each other, DM to one another, as well as some information and stuff. So I've been super excited about collaborating on that side of things. If you are curious about more, please visit theburntchefproject.com and share it with the restaurants and hoteliers that are in your network. I'll hand it back
Awesome.
to you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Gavin, you're live. Gavin
All
Kinzel,
right.
what's up?
Hi, I'm Gavin. I'm a producer at Cali BBQ Media, helping with the external clients to get their message out there. One thing I really quickly wanted to say on the production side is, if anyone's listening to this and works in production, media production, websites are extremely valuable. Personalize it. You want to show your work, don't just tell people what you do on a resume. Build out your own website. We can't all have a Kyle Pfluger to help build it, so utilize Squarespace or Wix.com, things like that to get your work out there, make a portfolio, and that's the best way to attack the media industry, because there's a lot of really talented people in production, and I don't think enough people take advantage of that.
Awesome. And if you guys are watching, please share on LinkedIn. Please comment on YouTube. Put a comment. If you have a question, let us know. If you have a website, let us know what your website is, because I think all of us need to, this community will go and support and see if there's things that make sense, don't make sense. Ashwin Kalmani, he gave some tips for our landing page for the Rising Tide. This live show, he said time zones are confusing, and I agree, since we have people that join from all over the globe. Kyle's going to figure out the time zone conversion. So that's above my pay grade. I have no idea how to do that, but Kyle will figure it out.
I speak for developers everywhere that time zones in coding is the biggest thorn in the side you could ever imagine. So
Calendly's almost figured it out, haven't they?
Yeah. The
Calendly makes it easy.
Millions of dollars on developing calendar solutions has almost figured it out. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, they've almost figured it out. Well, let's open up the conversation. Like I said, we're not going to go in any order. So if you have something, if you have a story you'd like to share about websites, if you have a question, go ahead, unmute. The time is yours. The floor is yours. Whoever has a burning desire to share, go for it. Don't be shy. I don't want any shy.
I'll jump in on something that's an evolution of a conversation that I learned. previously, when we launched Arrow Up 6 years ago, and we started to work on SEO, and we started to work on arrowuptraining.com. We started to work on SEO and building out the landing pages. It was all about how many words you can put in there and how many different pages to keyword. And it was all about learning, as I was being told, the understanding of, that Google recognizes and trusts this, right? And by the way, what's great about the visual calls, I get to see Michael Beck's reactions to know if this is on track with somebody who really geeks out over this stuff or not. So I'm going to try to not stare too much for live feedback if I'm going in the right direction, but I appreciate it. And so to all listening, that's why you want to join the calls. So it was about the keywords and really looking at that. Now I agree in SEO, building out multiple pages and whatnot. But as we started to really simplify what we were targeting, I then was introduced to Donald Miller, which I know we're fans of here. And that's why I wanted to bring it up. And the story brand marketing and this idea of what is the story you're trying to tell in the least amount of words possible. So, because if you confuse, you lose. Right. And I know this is another great saying that we love to share in this Rising Tide community. And I loved when it was not about this evolution of, it's not about how many words you can get on a page that Google trusts you, but how few of words you can get on a page so that the person understands you. And you literally are able to communicate what that mission is and purpose. And so that's something that's been fun, is we've really simplified that our homepage is small, and then you can click to where you want to go. Now, for us, we've set it up because we deal in compliance, we deal in training, we deal in custom content. We kind of have built these buckets. What's going to be fun in the future is, as we're evolving into a media company, which is another thing that we will be pushed in this community, which is fantastic. We're starting to see where we're actually going to be an online, not news magazine per se, but people are going to come to our spot to get the training freemium model, to get the resources, to get the communication educated to them. And then we're selling somewhere else the upgrades and things like that. So what I'm excited to explore is how this actually becomes an interactive page for the common user to come, bottom up approach. I say common, not the HR or the directors, and engage with it. And in that, because we can't all get a Kyle Pfluger in our life, but may we all work towards that. Gavin, I appreciate that setup. There are other great tools out there. LearnWorlds is one that we're using because they're getting really good at being a training distributor as well as an online article distributor, so that you can convert it, play with it a little bit. It's very mobile friendly and first and responsive and all that you need, while being able to engage a community for follow-up email lists and newsletters and things like this. So we're evolving in that capacity. We haven't decided yet, but we'll probably go from WordPress over. Keep you in the loop as we evolve. So this is the arc and the evolution of where we're into that I wanted to kick this off and introduce.
That's awesome. I think the biggest takeaway is when you're, there's a dichotomy between one-to-one and one-to-many. And when you're trying to get so many people to come find your website, you really confuse the actual person that you're trying to do business with, which is less is more. Like, how are you the guide on the website? How are you solving that problem?
Yeah, and so it's going to be, as we go one-to-many, one-to-one, and narrow that down, what we're not going to lose is focus of, I don't know if I'd say 80-20 rule, if this fits here. I don't know, Kyle, with that, in that sense of like, no, it's 80-80. It's 100-100 rule. That's what we're going for. The 100-100 rule.
100-100 rule. Richard, do you have questions or a story you'd like to share?
Yeah, I've actually been working with Scott recently, and
Brilliant.
we've if you look at his website, which is a work in progress, I think.
What's the website? We name drop in this
Hospitality.
community, so please name drop. Go ahead.
If you have a look at Scott's website, Auden Hospitality, he'll tell you it's a work in progress, and I'll let him tell you about it. But part of what we've done is really work on his brand DNA and tell his stories. And we've got an About Us on there, and I think Scott's About Us. Please, everybody go and have a look at it, because it's fantastic. It's full of personality. It's full of character. And I think, when you're doing something like Scott, you have to sell the thinking and the people behind it. Now, what's really interesting is working with Scott was actually really easy. Working on my own and my own About Us is a pain in the ass. And I think we were talking before about as soon as you've done a website, it's out of date. And it was really interesting because I looked at Scott's and went, that's really good. I can see the direction it's going. And I looked at mine and went, oh shit, it's out of date. So my question to the guys is, when you look at the website and you look at About Us, what are your thoughts on, what is sort of some tips and tricks on bringing out that personality and bringing out that character that you need people to understand? Because I think it's one of those bits of a website that's really important, but almost left to last. So it's kind of, come on, guys, can you redo my About Us for me?
Richard, I think that's your point, though. Is you brought that up? Is it's hard to talk about yourself. Let other people share what they think about you or who they see you as. Even when Sean and I were talking, he's like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "No, you're the GTM guy." Like it's not what you think you are. It's what the people around you that think you are, or those things about you. They're going to pick up on things that you're going to be too humble to talk about, right? And there's some things there that they just might pick up that you're just too close to. So yeah, engage the people around you. See what the feedback is.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the page right now, and one of the things I love most about this page.
Can you screen share with everyone up here?
Scott, do I have your permission to show the page to the world here?
We build in public.
It's out there to the world anyway, right?
We build in public.
So
let's go.
Do this.
This is a live audit.
There's no secrets on a published page.
There's no secrets on a published page. We might as well put it on a live show. Let's go.
I love. So let me give everyone we'll start up at the top here, right? So love that you're not that you took the advice that I gave, but you're living by that same thesis. Never build anything above the fold without a call to action. So we've got a real simple let's chat button here. Beautiful imagery. Simple headline, love that. Quick little blurb here, but this is the section that catches my attention.
Yes,
I'm putting faces to names.
Gold.
It's engaging. I've got LinkedIn links. Like this tells me more, and I love the headline here: "Meet our thinkers and doers." Like combining that together tells me so much about what it is that you guys do. Well done. This
well, I think one of the biggest takeaways that I have is, like, if you think about us, I challenge all of us to go to About Us. They'll very rarely will they talk about more than one person. Very rarely will they have multiple people, and they definitely won't have social profiles to that person. Well, like a way to stand out from your company is like link out your people, show their LinkedIn page, show their Instagram account, show their YouTube page. There's no reason not to celebrate the people that are on our team.
And the videos are amazing.
The videos are amazing, really good.
And a little bit in the weeds here from the design perspective, but one of the things I want to call out, because I can't emphasize enough how important nuance is and detail-oriented design. As we scroll through here, there's certain things that are called out in a green font. So we change the color on certain words, certain keywords that catch my attention as I scroll through this page. And that is very well executed and very well done. Hotels Made Us. That's awesome. That tells me so much without having to read anything. I can just see it right there. As I scroll down a little bit further, I saw one here, What We Believe. This is catching my attention. I come down here, hit play, like action driven. Go do something with this podcast. Yes, we have a podcast. Go fucking listen to it. Hit play. Yep. Do it right here. So really, really well done. A lot of nice nuance in this design. So I like it a lot. Very well done, guys.
Brilliant. All right, who's up? Who wants to share? This is a free forum, so don't be shy. I know this. We know this community also.
Shall I tell you a few stories on that though?
Yes, tell us.
Kyle,
we love stories.
I really hope the person who built that site didn't hear your great feedback, because they're going to want a raise, because it was actually because Richard knows, right? So basically, I'm going to tell you a story on my website and how we got to where we got to. Is I engaged these guys to redo our website after it took 2.5 years of the business. We knew we needed to evolve.
Boring.
Worked with Richard on the evolvement of the brand. So we went to go in and work on the website. After about 2 months of trying to get the design right with these guys who were there and sold the dream on, they're going to go with Next.js. It's going to be fast. It's going to be like high performing. Google's going to love it, blah, 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 blah. The design was shit. There's no other way to describe it. And I was saying to Richard, like, these guys just cannot get the design. Like, I sell experience and I sell our thinking and I sell detail. So if the website is shit, people are going to think we're shit. And I'd like to think that we're not. So I was just like, I'm going to have to call it a day. Doesn't matter how much I've paid with these guys. We're not going to get the design there. It's just not going to work. So I pulled the plug, and we had the original website was built on Squarespace, and it still is built on Squarespace today. And I literally went downstairs. My wife's the one who does a lot of the updating because she has more time. And I was just moaning in very typical Yorkshire fashion, which involves a lot of swearing, a lot of moaning, and just literally ground her down to the point where she was like, shall I just do it how you want it? And I was like, yeah, okay, that's brilliant. So she literally sat there for 2 days and was just like doing it. And I was going down and annoying the shit out of her about every 2 hours because I was like, no, tweak that there, move that there, do that with this, do that with that, and all the rest of it. And and one thing it taught me, that story, is don't get we are novices on websites, right? Website people can come on a call with us. They can completely talk a different language where we all go, wow, that's fucking brilliant. Yeah, I'm going to have some of that. And then the guys who are really good at that bit are really shit at detail or design. So it's about making sure that when you do websites, interview those people like they are looking after your baby, because essentially they are. And they've got to make sure that they can do the UX bit right and then get the performance right to be able to do it. That's before I tell you about the SEO that was literally unreadable afterwards. So there's an element of balance. But I think watching this, really make sure that that UX piece is something that the website guys can deliver, because it makes a massive difference. Especially then, when now my story as I'm interviewing new website people is, if my wife can do it, I need to see what you can do.
Yes.
Because you have to do better. And that's like my benchmark of where it is. So that's a follow on to the Nice About Us page.
Yeah. Brilliant.
That's when with Kyle, that's one of the things he did right away, is he just rolled out a showcase of several pages he'd done already, just so I had an idea of his style, his approach to it. And I think definitely that's a non-negotiable. You have to see their work.
Yeah,
you got to see the work. And just from my own experience, I've been building websites 10, 12 years now, and for me, one of the biggest red flags that kind of speaks to what you're talking about a little bit, Scott, is when you get on a call with a company that's proposing a new website, and all they do is sort of speak in terms to make it seem like they know what they're doing. They use a lot of technical terms. They talk about things like JavaScript libraries and one of Sean's favorite, cache.
Clear the cache.
All those words. Like, to me, that's always a red flag, because it feels like overselling to me. There's no website design is going to be good if it doesn't answer core questions. If you can't speak the language and you can't look at it through the two most important lenses to look at a website through are you as the business owner, as the stakeholder, as the one that's pushing this project forward. But I would argue that more importantly is look through it from the lens of whoever this website is built to serve. Define who your audience is, understand the persona of those people that are going to be visiting the website. That's one of the first questions we always ask is, if every visit to your website could end in one particular thing, what would that one particular thing be? And then on the other hand, if every user came to your website, what is it that they're going to walk away from? What do they want to leave this website with? And it's really important that those two things meet in the middle, that your goals for the website and the user's goals for the website ultimately point at the same thing. And so building from that user perspective makes a huge difference. And it's super important that I would just say to the audience here, when you're having conversations with website developers, website designers, really anyone in this space, make sure that they understand who it is that you are trying to serve. They have to understand your audience in order for them to build a product that is going to ultimately serve your business. That's such an important piece of it.
Kyle, on that, I think it's really interesting because I'm really lucky. I work with a great website designer over in Buffalo. And I think what's really interesting, I work with a number of clients that are always looking for good website people. And I think I just wanted to switch it round. If you're selecting a web agency, and obviously you're looking at the quality of their design work, you're looking at the quality of the experience of working with them, I guess the question I've got is, how do you get the most out of that developer-client relationship? So what advice would you give somebody working with an agency to get the most out of that experience?
Yeah, I love that question. I really do. And I think there has to be an open level of trust. So, speaking from my own experience, um, our typical process starts with, Beck kind of touched on it, right? So we'll show you some of our work, but then what we always like to ask is, show us some of the stuff that you like. What are websites that you like interacting with? We want to understand your flavor. It's not because we want to go copy a design. It's because we want to understand what you're looking at. And so what I would recommend, and this is something that we try to do from the agency perspective to the client, but I think flipping that, the client can easily do the same thing, is try to personify your brand. So if you think about your brand, you think about the website you're building, think about what kind of clothes they would wear, think about where they're going to go eat, think about what they're watching when they go, flip on
What
Netflix.
music they listen to.
Yes, exactly. Personify your brand. And if you can accurately articulate that, if that can be a starting point of the conversation as you work with other creatives, like, that's a really easy thing for all of us to wrap our heads around. Like, that's a really easy way to simplify the brand, and for, I think, the product to ultimately look a lot better. The other thing I would say is open, honest, and regular communication is like the most important part of a client relationship with a web agency. And if there's a fine line, I will say, as someone that runs an agency, between helping clients make the right choice and letting clients drive the ship. So there's a lot of times, a lot of conversations I've had in the past where suggestions are made and they are just god awful, terrible things that we should not do. They go against all the best UX practices. We should not be doing this. And there's I would say from the client perspective, an openness to feedback in the way in which that feedback is presented. How does that come across? How does that feel to you? Is it done in a constructive manner? And if it is, that's the kind of person you want to trust. Someone that's helping you build a better brand, not for the sake of, like, I want to do it this way because this is what I say and this is, this fits my design preference better. But hey, your users are going to want to do this. We really need to simplify this flow, and here's the reasons we need to do that. So there's got to be a reason-driven approach to building this. There's got to be a desired outcome for every step of the way. It really comes back to what I said before, of got to think about things through the lens of that end user, because if we're not servicing that end user, your website's going to be shit. Bottom line.
I've got a question for Matt, since he just launched his site. Matt, was your site more of a marketing site to get new restaurant owners to know about ClearCogs, or was it to service your existing customers as well? Does it serve both audiences?
It does a little bit, but oddly enough, we didn't want to necessarily give all of the information on the website.
Okay.
Really were
Transparency and pricing, I think, is interesting as well, especially for tech company, all the tech companies that we work with.
I mean, ultimately, we were optimizing for how do we get on the phone call and have a discussion, right?
Yes.
And if you give all the information, there's nothing to discuss. So like, how do you create just enough momentum? We're like, I'm curious, this is interesting, but I'm missing that one piece. Let me set up a call and find out.
Yep.
How are you getting calls now?
Yeah, we are. I think we've done a great job on the visual side of things. It's now aesthetically pleasing. Another challenge with websites is, how do you get the feedback loop to understand what messaging needs to change? How do you A/B test all of that? And it's something we're really driving into. I'm sitting here looking at my website right now and thinking, man, this messaging is really bad. It's only been up for 6 weeks and already it needs to be refreshed.
So is all the messaging that you want somebody, like if I go to your LinkedIn profile, you're driving people to the ClearCogs main website landing page?
We are.
You have separate landing pages that you're using?
We are not currently. We did in the old website. That's one of those things that they just get stacked on top of each other.
Yep.
No, right now we're driving everybody to the homepage and then really trying to, set up different market segments. So, are you a franchisee? Are you a franchisor? Are you an independent restaurant? We're really trying to gather that data of who is coming to the website and how are they interacting with it to understand, our visitors.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that real quick, Matt. And I think one of the things you just mentioned is a pain point for a lot of website owners, no matter what industry you're in, and that's really understanding the data of how the website is interacted with. Just a couple things off the top of my head that I would recommend. Like a bare minimum is getting some Google Analytics in there. That's like no website should be live without some base level analytics reporting. But even Google Analytics, there's quite a few blind spots there. That's only going to tell you so much. Some other tools that I recommend and some things that we work on implementing with our clients. There are services like Hotjar is the name of one. Lucky Orange is another. What's really cool about both of those services is they will break down data for you in a way where you can see hotspots. So you'll get like a hotspot overlay on your website to see where people are clicking, what people are interacting with most. So if you think that like this button on your homepage is the most important thing on your homepage, but no one's ever clicked on it, it's not the most important thing on your homepage. So it probably needs to go, and we need to rethink it. And this is part of the process. Like I think a number of people mentioned it. Like a website is a living, breathing thing. People's preferences changes, the way people shop, the way people approach things changes. So it's really important that we pay attention to that. The other thing I would mention, user testing. There are tools online where you can go, you pay like $5 for someone. You basically write out like a test. You say, hey, I want you to go execute this thing on this website. So it's like, I want you to go purchase something, or I want you to go fill out a lead form. And then you just give them the URL and you set them loose. And what you will actually get from there is a live recording of their interaction with the website. So you can really understand, this is how hard it was for this person to execute this thing, or this is how badass of a job that we've done. It took them 10 seconds to fill out that lead form, whatever that might be. So it's important to obviously identify what those key outcomes are that you're interested in, but there's a lot of really cool tools out there that can help do that. And most of them are pretty cheap, if not free. So there's some cool stuff out there.
I love all that, Kyle. I'll throw two more in there. Microsoft Clarity is fantastic as an add-on, like the Hotjar. It does all that heat mapping and tracking. It's free. And then, shout out to Sean, building community. We went on LinkedIn and said, we're working on our website. Here's a draft of it. I cannot begin to tell you the amount of detailed feedback I got. In the bottom footer, you're missing a comma. It was some of the best. Yeah,
Awesome.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Asking for help. Stay curious, get involved, ask for help. Asking for help, using social media to ask for help is just a reminder to all of us. Is we want to publish something, we want to show it when it's ready, but building in public, we have a community of people here on this call, here in this community, that no matter what you're doing, if you're launching a podcast, if you're launching a YouTube channel, if you're launching a website, if you're testing a product, we'll give you feedback, open and honest feedback.
I will say I've been building websites long enough to have built up pretty thick skin and have some of the hard conversations about like, hey, I like this design or I don't, but working with Sean has made that skin even thicker. I know every time I build a web page, I know what's going out to a shit ton of people, and he's going to say, give me all the feedback, tell me everything we need to improve on there. So I have to be ready for that. Every time I deliver it to Sean, I'm like, don't send it out just
don't send it yet. I'm like, is this going live? Because it's going in the LinkedIn chat, the Instagram chat. I'm texting people, I'm emailing people.
For sure. I love that.
Kyle, I got a question to you. What's the story these days with backlinks and SEO? Like we keep hearing I keep hearing different things about the power of SEO now, and backlinks and other ways that we could drive traffic to the sites. But what are the things to really be thinking about? What's the best bang for the buck?
Great question. So backlinking used to be a volume game. It used to be like, I need as many websites as possible linked to mine. And the thing with backlinks is like they're most valuable when they're bi-directional. So I've got a link from my website to yours, and you've got a link from your website to mine, because that really shows that there is some sort of relationship. There's some level of trust between those two brands, and Google's able to identify that. These days, the internet is so damn big that it's less about volume these days. There's so much noise out there. Google cares a lot more about quality of backlinks these days than they do about quantity of backlinks.
What's the quality backlink?
It's a great question. Let me give you a Cali Barbecue Media example. Having backlinks from entrepreneur.com come back to the Cali Barbecue Media website are really valuable backlinks. From toast.com. These are trusted, reputable brands. They get a shit ton of traffic. They're websites that Google already trusts. There's a certain level of trust there. And there's some great tools out there, some SEO tools that can help you identify sort of the health of backlinks on your website. And I'm happy to drop some links in here once we're done, where you can like run a free audit that'll show you like, this is sort of your backlink audit health. It'll show you all the stuff that they've been able to find across the internet that's linking back to your website. Sometimes there's some malicious stuff in there. There's some weird Russian drug, prescription drug websites that are trying to use some black hat SEO and things like that. So it's good when you identify these really low quality backlinks to remove those. So you can actually basically prevent those links. So tell Google that like, hey, no, that's not our stuff. Like
they can show up without your permission.
Oh yeah, easily. Because really all a backlink is in practice is, I put a link on my website to some other website. It's basically that's really all it is. From like a fundamental perspective of like what it actually takes to build out a backlink. So there's a lot of ones out there that can there's a lot of really like shady practices that SEO companies will use as a way to make your website show on
These
the
are
first
hacks.
page. Yes, 100%. And that's a whole other conversation, is like the SEO world is a whole separate beast in and of itself. But yeah, so I would recommend, like I said, I'll drop some links in our chat here once we wrap up to some spots where I would recommend everyone drop their website in there, kind of get an idea of what those backlinks look like. And if you see some shady ones in there, it'll give there's steps to mitigate that. And I will say, I know everyone said not everyone can have a Kyle Pfluger, but I'm available for hire, guys. If you need help, right here. Okay, so, but really, no, I mean it. If anyone here has website questions, they're looking for feedback, they're looking for things to improve upon, I'm more than happy to provide whatever feedback and whatever level of experience that I've got in doing this to the entire community here and beyond. So please feel free.
Let's see if.
Oh,
go ahead.
I got
Go
one
ahead.
question for you, Kyle. Are there certain best practices out there, such as like ADA compliance and terms and conditions and privacy policies? It seems like lots of websites have them. I've been told by multiple people, like, you need this, that, or the other. What are some best practices, or the minimum you need to have on there?
Yeah, bringing up the kind of the boring stuff that everyone, like, no one likes to think about. It's the less sexy part of your website, is like building a good privacy policy and quality terms and conditions. I would say, as a general rule of thumb, everyone should have a privacy policy and terms and conditions on their website. It's good practice. It takes 5 minutes to build them out. There's tons of online generators. ChatGPT can write a script for you pretty easily that's going to check the boxes you needed to check. Where I would say they're even more important is if you do any kind of online transacting, you collect any sort of financial information, any sort of e-commerce functionality is built into your website. It's a must. And these days, most of the time, if you want to actually integrate with the payment processor, they'll require it as a part of like the setup flow. You actually have to give them a link to say, yes, we have our terms very clearly stated here. So on that side of things, 100%, I just recommend doing it. It doesn't have to be a primary navigation item at the top of your website. Throw it down in the footer, just have it there. It's accessible. The other thing that you mentioned here was website accessibility. I can't stress enough how much more important that has become in the last few years. I'm sure everybody here is either experienced or heard stories of colleagues that have had run-ins with accessibility. Unfortunately, we have a lot of these, what I would call like ambulance chaser lawyers out there that are looking to make a quick buck. The truth of it is, website accessibility is massive. Like that's the type of thing that agencies will hire full-time employees just to manage the accessibility for a single website. Like there's a lot that goes into it. I'm happy to share some resources on what exactly accessibility means at the highest level, just to kind of inform anyone that isn't familiar with what website accessibility means. Much like your brick and mortar restaurants, where you need to have wheelchair ramps, you need to have, handicap accessible seating, all those kinds of things, right? All those boxes that you've got to check. The web is very similar to that. There were laws passed a few years ago that made this a lot more important. And since then, the number of lawsuits that we've been seeing is like significantly higher, exponentially more than we'd seen before. So when it comes to a website, when we're talking about accessibility, one of the, I think the most common and sort of easiest examples to illustrate what that means is if you think of someone with some sort of visual impairment, right? We spend all this time on our website making it look perfect, making it look beautiful, getting the fonts, the colors, the images, the videos, all of that stuff. Well, if I have a visual impairment, none of that means shit to me because I can't see it anyways, right? So how do we make sure that that website is still a seamless experience for someone with a visual impairment? So some of the things at a high level are making sure that you have a proper hierarchy of like your heading heading tags on a page. So every page on, like, as a single page on your website should never have more than one H1 tag. That's like, this is the title, this is the most important thing on the page. If you have another H1 tag on that same page, it's going to get flagged as an accessibility issue. Another example, I add an image to my website. Anytime you upload an image, there's an option to add what's called alt text. Alt text stands for alternative text. It's basically describing what that image shows in a text form, because a lot of people with visual impairments, the way that they interact with your website is through what's called a screen reader. So they will come to your website, they have software installed on their computer, and it will literally read through the website. So that's why things like the hierarchy of your information, making sure that your images are properly tagged, making sure you've got captions on any of the videos that are embedded on your website. The list goes on. It's a very long list of things. So in terms of ways to approach that or solutions for that, the best solution is always going to be like from the ground up. So when you're looking at going back to, if you're having conversations with a development agency, they're talking about building you a website, accessibility should absolutely be a part of the conversation. And if they're not bringing it up, that's a red flag. That, like, this is something in the modern age. Every reputable design agency, web development agency, if they're not talking about accessibility, if they're not making it a priority, it's probably not someone you want to work with. Now, actually managing accessibility, like I said before, that's like a full-time job. So typically, like what we do and what a lot of agencies will do is our promise is that everything that we design and build throughout the project phase of building a new website. So when we design those things, when we actually go in and code and build this all out, when we hand that off to you, whether we manage it long-term or we hand it off to you and you're going to start managing your website yourself, everything that we package up there will meet those accessibility standards. From that point forward, though, it really is on you as the business owner to take the steps necessary to make sure it stays accessible, because ultimately that lawsuit's going to come against the business. It's not going to come against anyone else. So it's important to have people in your corner that know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to accessibility, but it's not much like everything else we've talked about with websites. It's not a set it and forget it thing, because every time you edit something on your website, something as trivial as like adding a blog post with some new images, if you're missing the alt text on those images, guess what? Now that's a check mark that some shady lawyer can come use against you at some point. So it's really unfortunate, to be honest, the kind of the way that this is rolled out, because in principle, it is everything that the internet should be. It should be accessible to everybody. It should be something that no matter who I am, any limitations that I may have, be them visual, anything else, I should be able to use the internet just like anyone else. The problem is I can use a Taylor Swift song in a video on the internet and I get a cease and desist letter, and all I have to do is like go take that video down. I can miss a few lines of text on an image that I upload to my website and I can potentially get a lawsuit. So the cause and effect, the punishment and the crime are a little bit unbalanced right now. And my hope is that in the next few years, we see sort of a tipping of the scales, because in all reality, the lawyers that are out there chasing down accessibility, they're not really interested in making this accessible for people. They're interested in making a buck. So I know that was a very long.
Can we give you a bigger soapbox to talk about the accessibility? That was like a master class on like, you just scared the shit out of the whole community.
I'm sorry.
Take your websites down, everybody. Take your websites down. It's all wrong. No, that was awesome.
I blame Matt Wampler.
Make sure it's accessible. Can we all give a round of applause to Dean LeBay for his persistence? Yes. Welcome, Dean LeBay.
Hey,
Dean,
what's going on, guys?
You did it.
Listen, I've been struggling with it, but it's like everything else. You keep doing it, until you figure it out. We are on the tip of the iceberg of what's going to be built in 2025. We're ahead of everybody else. Once we start figuring out how to connect the technology to the people in the back of the kitchen, front of the house, whatever you want to say it, that's where I'm focused on. And for this next year, my name's Dean LeBay, by the way. I'm in the hospitality capital of the world. I'm in New Orleans. And I'm going to let switch this over to Elizabeth, because I know she's got questions.
Dean, before you go, Dean, I would like, can you say a few words about the Rising Tide community? This is the first time that we've had you on video. We have people that watch, they listen on podcasts, they're watching this on YouTube. What have you learned about Rising Tide community? Can you share something for us?
Sure, sure. And the reason I turn my head is I'm deaf in one ear and can only hear 40%, and my hearing aids in the shop. Okay, I'm 64 years old, and part of my journey has been when I was 57, I had a surgery, and I started listening to different podcasts, different stuff out there, and got connected with Sean and the Rising Tide community. And basically, it's real simple. You know, rising tide lifts all ships, and because ships can carry boats, but this community carried me when I couldn't carry myself. And the beauty of it is when you help other people, you actually help yourself because you get outside your own problems and you try to lift others. This is this is sacred to me. This group is, and I try to support it where I can and how I can. But you know, again, I'm limited to what I can do. I will go ahead and give you something that you won't see anywhere else, and you won't see anywhere else. After the first year, the Potato Theory podcast will be going on, and I'm going to get with some people to help me do that. And it's going to be real simple, real basic, and the simplicity of it is we all have a story to tell, and the potato represents to me curiosity. So we'll have what's called an aha moment, and everybody has those in life. And the thing is, we just don't realize it when it happens, and we need to focus more on that. Again, rising tide lifts all ships. Thanks.
Dean, we love you. You're an inspiration to this community. You have no idea how much you've impacted every single one of us. And if you don't know Dean LeBay, please connect with Dean LeBay on LinkedIn, on Instagram. He is the biggest supporter there is out there. Dean, you're a shining example of what this community means. I'm so happy that you figured out Riverside, your persistence to get on the show. So thank you. Elizabeth, mic is yours. Go for it.
Yeah, sure. So first, I'm going to do a Riverside FM tip for you guys. Those of you that are on stage, you can actually click on your little name that's black and white down in the corner, and you can add another line. You can put your title there. You can put your social handle. You can put your website, whatever you would like to put there. You can add a little bit extra to yourself if you click on the actual video and add that. And really quick, first off, my website is a hot mess. Richard and I have been discussing this for a very long time. So project 20, oh no, I'm not gonna say that. In 2025, in 2025, I am really hoping to tackle the website because it is a hot mess. If you want to see the before,
Sean, hold her to account on this, please.
What a bad website looks like, please visit www.izzyinkstudios.com. And you guys can have a great time looking at how bad it can look. Okay, I love a good before and after transformation. The quick thing that I wanted to drop is if you are using a website on your social handles and you're using anything like Linktree or Milkshake or any of these other sites that you are using, they are getting all of your traffic. So I highly recommend to you that you build a hidden page on your website that is your own set of buttons. If you're wanting to redirect to multiple places, so for instance, Instagram I know now allows you to have a couple of URL links in your bio and that type of stuff. But if you're going to do that, don't send it to a third party. Create your own hidden version of that and have your own buttons that direct to your different content. So and it's a pretty easy setup if you are messing on. If you've ever made a blog or made a page on your website, you can make a hidden version of that or ask your website person to do that so that you have that link that you can put in those places. So that's my quick share. Back to you, Sean.
Awesome. Troy Hooper says you can build it in Canva. So Troy, we missed you. We see you in the comments and anybody else that's in the comments. Thank you. Let's kick it over to, I guess, Mercedes or Richard. Who wants to take the baton? Is Richard teaching Mercedes or is Mercedes teaching Richard?
Well, I do want to share something about websites real quick, if that's okay.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So we worked with a website team, and I think it's really important. Of course, like we're in restaurants, so we have absolutely no idea about websites. And so I think it's really important what Kyle was saying. When website people start saying crazy words you don't understand, it's because they want to confuse you and shut you up and take your money. That's essentially what they're doing. So be careful when that happens. So we ended up working with a website team that really shouldn't be a website team. Essentially what they were is an agency that outsources website building and outsources SEO. And all they really know how to do is social media. And when I tell you, I don't say this lightly, and it's because we didn't have ADA compliance the whole time we worked with them. They never mentioned it. It wasn't until we went to an actual website team that said, holy moly, you don't have this. And we need to add it right now, like today. And so that's when we learned that we were working with a social media team and not a website team at all, and that we should have looked elsewhere for our help. But yeah, so I think that in sales, they tell you if you say too much, you confuse, you lose. In websites, they want to confuse you, not to lose you, but to take your cash. Another thing I think about all the time is websites are living, breathing, eating things. Like you can't just put even for restaurants, like I am always having to talk to our website team because there is nobody assigned to be like the inceptor of the website people. Like it's just, I ended up taking the baton because I'm like, I always say I volunteer for everything. I can like just put my hand in the cookie jar and pick out whatever cookie looks best. So, but yeah, definitely having a point of contact that is like in touch with your website team often is really important. We may have to make changes for football. We have to make changes for specials, and making sure that's all up to date and people can find it is really imperative, especially in today's economy when people are looking for those things. Now for me and Richard's trick of the trade, we collaborated on today's British word of the day.
and this is very important because we thought we are in December and it is festive season. So, Sean, what is this?
Can you see that?
A crisp.
A cracker. It's called a cracker. It's called a cracker.
Correct. You put cheese on it, but you wouldn't have it at Christmas because that's not a cracker. This is a cracker.
Is that a firework?
I knew this was coming. Mercedes, prepare for action. So normally what would happen in a British Christmas dinner on December the 25th, we would put these on the table and two people would grasp either end of the cracker and pull like this. And you'll hear a little explosion. Inside the cracker, there is normally a gift. And luckily in this one, got a pair of festive glasses. And then inside here, there's more. You normally get a Christmas hat. And we obviously play the game. It's a paper hat. They're always crowns. I'll take this off here and model this one here. So you put your crown on Christmas Day like this. And then you get what's known as a Christmas cracker joke. And it says, today's joke is, how do you scare a snowman?
How do you scare a snowman? I don't know. Matt, Jason, does anyone know? How?
With a hairdryer. So what you did, they're just the worst dad jokes. So we have on Christmas Day.
Do you write these dad jokes? Like, is this like a? Can you buy?
I've never been happier being Jewish.
So cracker, not a cracker. This is a Christmas cracker. So these basically they are.
How much does a Christmas cracker cost? Where do you purchase said Christmas crackers from?
Well, it depends.
Sean, you can buy them in the U.S. at the dollar store, actually.
Really? They come with a nice, a fancy hat and glasses
and dad jokes. But you can they start. So I bought 12 today. I went to the grocery store on Mercedes's advisement. I bought 12 for about $5. But they're like, obviously you can get them from a department store and they're really, 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 really expensive. And they have like different gifts and jokes. But this is a traditional Christmas cracker.
You're not going to tell them about your 45-pound cracker with
oh my gosh.
chocolate?
So we started Googling this, and there was a cracker that's probably about $80, where you pull it, and inside it is like gourmet chocolate and like a mini explosion, but there's no dad jokes or helmets or hats. So I thought no, but it's a proper tradition. So a proper Christmas cracker.
Brilliant.
See, I think you need to get a little baby Jesus, and you put the little baby Jesus inside, and instead of Christ on a cracker, it'll be Christ in a cracker.
We're on to something. Well, let's go around. We'll start with the two guests. Michael, what's your tip, takeaway, homework assignment for today? Thank you all for joining. Anybody that's watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, we want you to be a part of this conversation. Go to the website that we built specifically for this community. Like I said, we're going to evolve that website. We want to put links to your businesses. You guys, we can't do this show by ourselves. This is something that, we've been doing in public, but we have done it because you guys keep showing up. And anything that we can do to make these rooms better, any topics that you want to talk about, any hosts that you want us to have on, we're going to continue to evolve this show. So Michael, go ahead and kick us off.
Yeah, mine was in anything you put out in the world, make sure it's authentic to you, your brand. Is your voice, and it resonates with your audience, and that's no small thing.
Brilliant. Kyle?
Yeah, I'll keep mine short and sweet. I'll drop some links in afterwards for some auditing tools to go take a look at SEO performance, accessibility auditing on your website, just some of, like I said, the boring stuff, but super important stuff. And thank you all again for listening to my monologue on website accessibility.
It was amazing. And Mike and Stover, thank you for producing behind the scenes. If somebody can put a hint for what our next topic is. Let's go ahead to Elizabeth. What's your tip takeaway? Oh, we got Troy Hooper. Troy, just at the end of the show, he wants to join. Troy, share a story quickly about websites or something that, how was it being an audience member? Can we start? We can. How is it being an audience member? We can.
Well, it's okay, but you can't say anything. So I'm an audience member. You know me, not a really good audience member.
You're not a good. Troy's a raise my hand. Give me the mic kind of audience member.
Unfortunately, my brand new Mercedes decided to try and do an over-the-air update and blacked out my service. It blacked out everything out, so I had to go drop it off. I've been mobile this whole time, so good to see everybody. Look, great show, great conversation. I support everything that was said about how to be careful and get the right kinds of services and stuff. Yeah, I'm good, man. Just wanted to say hi and have my face.
Well, we appreciate seeing your face, hearing your voice. It's always better when Troy Hooper joins us. So Elizabeth, go ahead. Tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Yeah, I loved Kyle's share about above the fold and in that main section, because I had, heard that this should be where the statement is, but I love the having a call to action that it gets people exactly where they want to go as quickly as possible. I love that share.
Awesome. Gavin, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Gavin can't hear you.
Gavin can't hear me. Let's go to Laura. Laura, tip, take. Oh, can you hear me, Gavin? For some reason, he's still muted.
There he is.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I can.
Can you hear me
now? I
can. My internet's lagging.
All good. Go for it.
Make it authentic. Make it authentic. Make it personal. Great tips in this episode. I'll tell you why you need to make it personal. When I got hired with Cali BBQ Media, one of the questions Stover asked me, because my website had all these great photos of me in Seattle on a recent Seattle trip. I love the photos. Seattle hat, everything beautiful at the ocean there. He goes, "Hey, are you from Seattle?" I go, "No, I'm from Orange County." He goes, "Oh, your website was covered in Seattle." And I go, "Okay, so maybe I should make that more personal." So there's your tip to make your website more personal.
Well, it still works for you, Gavin. So you did great work, and you're doing great work. And just a reminder, go check out the Legal Lineup, which is Anthony Zoller. He is one of our clients at Cali Barbecue Media, but he is putting out some incredible content thanks to the team, but thanks to Gavin. Anything you want to share about the Legal Lineup?
Yeah, next Thursday, I've been spending all day with Troy, and he doesn't even know this, but he did a panel with Anthony Zoller, the Legal Lineups Employers Summit, and that's going to come out next Thursday. So I've been turning his audio around and everything in that video. So
well, I know that's a lot. That's a lot of work to work on Troy's audio. So we appreciate it. Thank you. We love you, Troy.
Lot of words.
Laura, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
A tip for anybody in the restaurant biz that has a website is to make sure that you have a place that someone can buy a gift card on your website.
Great.
This time of year, it's so important. I've personally attempted to buy gift cards for people on websites, and it wasn't possible. One of my clients recommends something called 99 Minds. I don't know if anyone is familiar with that company, but I'm sure there are a lot of resources out there to help you, but make sure that you can sell gift cards.
Yeah, if you are a Toast restaurant, Toast makes it very easy to buy digital gift cards. It's one of the happiest things, one of the easiest solves once we switched over to Toast. Jason Berkowitz, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Takeaway tip is, I put it in the comments, Accessibe, ACCESSIBE. Got the Kyle thumbs up. We use that to help keep us accessible and compliant. That's a tip. Takeaway was Kyle's double linking. So for instance, we don't link back, and we've been missing an opportunity. Like I write articles for Nation's Restaurant News. Well, that's a very trusted site that links to us. Well, why aren't I linking back? Or this course, Sean, that we just did for seven shifts.
Great.
Right? They're linking. Now, Kyle, I've learned to link back and double it up. But we got the hard part done, which is then linking to us.
That is the hard part. 100%. That's the hard part. So
that's my takeaway.
That's great. Great advice. Richard.
Yeah, really interesting discussion. I'm going to take away the comments from Kyle and Michael about talking to my audience to understand what they need. And I think it goes back to a conversation earlier this year. A website is like a bridge. As soon as you finish painting it, you need to start again and carry on and keeping it updated. Great discussion. A cracker of a discussion.
Thank you, Richard. Scott Auden.
A bad dad joke of a discussion is what you're
Scott Auden, Scott Turner.
I mean, first of all, I didn't realize
thank you for letting us share your website also. Building in
public.
public.
No, that's all right. No worries. Anytime. It's good for exposure. My homework is I need to bury that point from Kyle deep into the internet so my wife doesn't see it. Second of all, I didn't realize Richard was bald until he took his Santa hat off. So that's taught me something new today. And then finally, there we go. There's a few more. I'm heading that way, but not quite. And then the last one I was taught a few weeks ago for a restaurant was don't use PDF menus, because if you put your text onto the website, then Google sees your dishes and can help on Google search. If that's right, Kyle, right?
Yeah, I was actually going to try to chime in with that before we wrapped up today, because Laura mentioned the great point about the gift cards, and I always piggyback on that. Get rid of the damn PDF menus, especially the biggest pet peeve are the ones that make you scan the QR code at the table to look at the menu, and then they take you to a PDF. So I got to pinch and zoom on my phone. It's the absolute worst. So yes, get rid of the PDFs. There's no SEO benefit, and they suck from a user experience.
Brilliant. Mercedes.
Yeah, great chat.
Take away homework assignment.
I think my homework assignment is going to be for everybody in the room to get one person to look at your site for the one thing that you want from your customer. So ask a friend, ask a family member, somebody that hasn't looked at your site yet. Just ask them, hey, can you take a look at my site and look like you want to buy this product, or look for happy hour, or look for football specials, and see how frustrating it is for them, and ask them, how many times it took to click. So I think that's going to be it. And also, if a website person ever confuses you, lose them.
Beautiful. Matt Wampler.
Video works. This is fantastic. Kudos to you, Sean. I mean, it was Clubhouse,
it's not me.
LinkedIn, and all of a sudden,
this is all community. This is the efforts of this entire community.
Yeah, fantastic platform. Well done.
Yes. Well, we love having you, Matt. We appreciate it. And anybody that's watching, Troy Hooper, what's your tip? What's your takeaway? What's your homework assignment? First of all, did anybody sign up to receive information from the Rising Tide live show? The website, it says there's a call to action to receive information. I signed up. Kyle, I didn't get an email. I don't know if that's.
I'm working on it. We're building in public here.
Building in public.
Yeah, Sean, you keep publishing before he's ready.
I wasn't sure if it was ready to be used.
I need it ready today.
Kyle, how many times do you say I'm working on it to Sean?
That's just my default status on Slack. It's just I'm working on it.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Bald Chef, I'm working on it. Troy, go for it.
My homework is to make sure my assistant doesn't book other appointments during this hour. I'm tired of missing this time together, so I'm going to make sure we try to make that happen and finish this year out strong. I'm signing the deal that I talked about on Wednesday today. And,
sweet.
Go into quiet mode. I'm going to work during the holidays, but do so very quietly. I'm going to work on strategic planning for 25, the actual rollout plan, the actual schedule of what needs to get done by when, all that. So going to go a little quiet, but my goal is to be here twice a week and stop getting interrupted. By the way, it was by Matt Plapp. So Sean, you need to talk to Matt. Matt should be in here, not asking me for a one-on-one during these shows. So
I agree. Matt Plapp's on my radar. We will get him in these shows on the stage. Just some programming notes. We won't have a live show on Christmas. We won't have a live show on New Year's. Those are 2 Wednesdays. But we will have live shows on Fridays. So Friday the 3rd, January 3rd, Ashwin Kalmani, who is part of our Rising Tide group. He is, as we all have seen on LinkedIn, going through a transition. He's going to be coming on to the show to talk about the future of dynamic pricing and hopefully tease out some of the things that he's been working on. But as we all know, we all support the work that he's done and the things that he's done. We're really excited to have him as our special guest. So I hope you guys all up here on stage can join us for that January 3rd show. We will continue to update the website with information on future topics. If you guys have topics you want us to talk about, if you want to host the show, we're getting better at how the format works since this is now on video and how it all works, but we're open to feedback. Like I said, this is a evolving community. We want to grow the community. We want more people up here on stage, more voices, and we appreciate you guys.
Sean, to be very specific, we have shows on the 18th, 20th, 27th, and 3rd. That's the next 4 shows, 18, 20, 27, and 3rd remaining this year.
Yes, what Troy said. And Mike, thank you, Mike, and thank you, Stover, for producing the show. Thank you, Kyle, Michael, Gavin, Elizabeth, Laura, Jason, Richard, Scott, Mercedes, Matt, Troy, Dean LeBay for making his first appearance. Dean, we can't wait for you to join us more, and anybody that's watching. It shows always better when we have more voices up here. So thank you, guys. We appreciate it. That's, I guess that's a wrap. Stay curious, get involved.
Yay.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Well done.
Thanks all.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody.